Here's Santarelli to the end zone. One-hander. Yes, sir. Spectacular. Carlock, the amazing Jake Carlock. He gets a first down. Now Catapano taking a shot. Look at end zone. Got his man. It's Riss. Catapano to Riss. Captain to captain. Joe Cap now. Screen. Look at this. He's got a host of blockers. There's Fredericks. Nobody will touch Jordan Fredericks. Inside give to Crossan. Crossan heading for the end zone. And he's got it. Trent Crossan gives the Flaming Arrows the lead.
Do you think that you'll get the call? You think so?
The call?
The call.
What call?
The call. I mean, honestly, I will be so upset for you.
Cooperstown?
No.
Canton?
No.
I was trying to think what the NBA Hall of Fame is in Massachusetts.
If you don't get the call to be the MC of the Sachem North football dinner,
come on now.
That would
now
be
you're going to get me in trouble.
Why? You have been on these guys. They tweeted out, Sachem North football tweeted out the picture of you with the hat. Jim, you've been on these guys. How'd you know?
I didn't know. Hey, listen.
You should be hosting that dinner. You should be the MC of that dinner.
It was fun. They did a great job, and I didn't know. They had a bunch of gamers. Okay, they had depth with gamers. You know, when you got guys that compete, you got a few of them, you like your chances. When you got a bunch of them,
right,
you really like their chances. And I did like. Now I didn't think he would get hurt again. I did like sort of, and it came back in my favor. I did sort of like the Hollywood thing with Crossan. Right. You know, his brother played there, just came up short. He had all the injuries in his career. Finally, in his senior season, he got over the hump. He got hurt. Didn't look like he was even going to play in these games in the postseason. Like Lazarus, he rose up. And it was a nice story. It was a nice story because you could see the emotion on Coach Falco. You could hear the emotion.
Absolutely.
Coach Falco on the mic, thanking his parents. It was nice. It was nice to see because you never want to see, you know, programs that have so much tradition, so much pride, so many alumnus, guys that played there, spilled their guts out for those programs, and to never, you know, get that honor of being champs where people always remind them of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't like that because anybody that plays high school football deserves a lot of credit, you know?
What a day for the Crossings. I mean, you know, Dalton has that unbelievable. Did you read that? Yeah. It was incredible. They were watching. He goes out, has a couple of touchdowns, 150-something yards. New Hampshire's moving on. And now that Sacred Heart's out, I want New Hampshire to win the whole thing. Sacred Heart's where
That's
I went
your
to
boys.
school. Yeah. Morganelli had a great year for Sacred Heart. You know, the old dude, my big man from Smithtown West. He had a good year. Big lineman. And then they watched the game. So they watched Dalton's game. And then they watched Trent's game on MSGVarsity.com. So they got it all. They took it in. That's a day that the Crossings will never forget.
No doubt. And their dad played at Sachem North.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? He played with Coach Falco. So, I mean, that's high emotion kind of stuff. But, you know, listen, I like the Hollywood angle with Crossan, but, you know, the footprint of that championship is this whole team and a lot of guys.
No.
Because we did this game, and there were a lot of guys making plays all over the field.
No, absolutely. And a lot of those guys caused this to happen. It was unbelievable. Going into the weekend in New York last week, there were 13 unbeaten teams. There are only 5 left. Long Island lost 2 unbeaten. We knew we would lose one, either Babylon or Roosevelt.
Right.
And then the shocker, aside from maybe the only media person out there who thought that Farmingdale wouldn't win the game, was you. I still can't figure out how you knew that.
First of all, I didn't know they were going to play Farmingdale undefeated. And when I gave you it's just time for Sachem North in week 3 or 4, did I know that Farmingdale was going to be as good as they were? And they were that good. They were tremendous this year, the Dalers of Farmingdale.
What we didn't know, though, and we found
at 21-7.
Yeah, no, exactly. But what we didn't know about Sachem North, which we found out in the victory against William Floyd, and I want to address this after the highlights, that these guys know how to tackle. Let's go to Stonyville.
No doubt. First quarter, Mike Farmingdale was up 7-0. Vinnie Quinn, watch this. Nick Accurso, the senior defensive tackle, goes up and picks it off, nearly takes it into the end zone. It was a big momentum swing because a couple plays later, Malik Pierre, 1-yard touchdown, game tied at 7.
Yeah, how about Big Nick with the broken right hand and everything gets the interception?
Guy gets a pick with a cast on.
Love it.
But off the ensuing kickoff, Tommy Kennedy. Tommy Kennedy has got unbelievable wheels, hot feet, as Buddy Krumenacker says. 94 yards, the momentum right back to the Dalers.
Feet look good too when Jenkins is taking out two of the tacklers.
Curtis Jenkins can block. Curtis Jenkins can run. 8-yard touchdown run. So it's 21-7 Farmingdale. Station North ball. Watch this. Little option pass. Malik Pierre. Look at Bragaglia. Good little adjustment on the route. Takes it inside the 10 to the 4-yard line.
He was great for Bragaglia in this game.
And then Trent Crossan gets over the goal line, has the ball long enough. Replays would show. So it was 21-14. The game would stay like this to the fourth quarter. Farmingdale to punt. Malik Pierre blocks the punt. It's a safety. The score was 21-17. It makes it 21-19. Sachem North ball down 2. Trent Crossan into the end zone. 27-21. They have the lead in the Long Island Championship. And then Benny Quinn takes a look. This ball's going to go incomplete on 4th down. Let the Ronkonkoma celebration begin. Free coffee at all Jumbo Elliott's Dunkin' Donuts from here to eternity. Oh boy, Sachem North, Mike. They win their first county title since '95, and in the 22-year history of the Long Island Championships, there is never a Sachem victory in there. They finally have one. They are your Long Island champs.
You mentioned it before about Falco. Very emotional after the game. I kind of wish, because I love when coaches are emotional because it means so much to them. By the time we got to him, he was composed a little bit. So let's listen to this interview, and then I have a couple thoughts. Coach.
It's an unbelievable feeling for these seniors and the kids in the program, and to see the smiles on their faces, our administration and the parents. It's special for everybody.
You know, what they did, Falco did a great job this year because they know for the last 5 years they've won more games than anybody on Long Island and had nothing to show for it. Now, what they did, the one thing they could take from it is we scored a whole bunch of points. But it's so funny that down the stretch, this team won a championship because their defense became a great tackling defense. Rivera in the championship.
Justin Rivera, the senior captain.
Number 38, sensational. Carrion. Number
George
39,
Carrion, the senior.
Sensational. Barilla.
Chris Barilla, senior captain, number 22.
Sensational. Anthony DiMatteo.
Oh, the junior. What a future he has all over the place.
Sensational. Chris Fasano.
The 9th grader, the freshman, who, listen, I know you always say that sophomores, by the time they get to the end of the season, are not sophomores. Well, I guess he's not a freshman anymore, so he's like a sophomore. But unbelievable, because number 68 was omnipresent in this game.
Sensational. I mean, they were just, Rivera had 12.5 tackles, Carrion had 7, Barilla had 5.5, Fasano 5.5. You know, you throw Pierre in there. You throw Crossan made some plays, you know, and this was a team where they lost 2 guys.
Kevin Bragaglia,
incredible,
is shot out of a cannon every time he touches the ball or running around. I mean, this is what, you know, guys that play with a motor, and Bragaglia is one of the juniors who are back next year. You know, 21, he doesn't do anything just calm and cool. It's like, here I come.
Well, it's funny when he
Brian Morris, the kicker.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, factor.
Phenomenal. Big field goal at the end of the half. And that was a great job of clock management, too. I never, and I said on the broadcast, I thought they wasted a timeout when they had tried a 2-point try and then took the timeout. And they came down the field with just one timeout.
Credit Pierre there. You give Pierre an opportunity, and Pierre puts the whole thing in the motion with the big run.
And then the great play call, the hook and ladder. I mean it was some great management with the sideline. Use the sideline as your friend. It was.
And Crossan to get that winning touchdown, Mike. You know, sort of playing, you know, on behalf of the Crossan family. You know, he had the torn ACL, the hammies, the this, the that. You know, just one thing after another. The surgeries, the rehabs. You know, the Crossans are an impeccable physical condition. They lift, they run, agility, and to go through all those doctor visits and all those times on the training table and to finally get there in the end zone to deliver Sachem North with the lead, you know, it was fitting. It was fitting that, you know, sometimes in life the hard work, the perseverance pays off.
I thought this game changed on one play. When Pierre, and let's face it, he's a running back, so he's not going to throw it a lot, but he had pressure in his face. It was an ugly throw with beautiful results. When he put that wobbler up into the air and Brigaglia ran under it and then ran down to about the 5-yard line, I thought at that moment, and I truly felt that coming into the game, Farmingdale, if there was going to be a tight team, that Farmingdale would be the tighter team because they had that unbeaten record. I think from the moment Brigaglia settled under that ball, Sachem North took a breath and said, let's go have fun. Let's go play, because up until that point, they were getting beaten up.
It was 20. Listen,
they were getting beaten up.
Kevin Vandermark, he could play for me anytime in high school. Number 77. You know what you're going to get. You know, out of the guys like you know Tommy Kennedy. You know, you said Brigaglia shot out of a cannon. Every time Tommy Kennedy touched the ball, good things seem to happen. You know, the wonderful ride of Curtis Jenkins, who might. You listen, he's a Nassau County champ. They lose the Long Island Championship, but you might have seen the formation of a great college football career now in Curtis Jenkins. In what people thought was a basketball career, I think the thinking is slowly, game by game, started to change with Curtis Jenkins in what kind of opportunities might be out there for him in college.
I think maybe only Curtis thinks that. From everybody that you talk to, as good a basketball player as he is, and I have to go watch him in person. I know you've seen him, but he's a terrific football player. But with all that said,
Joe Lee,
great player, 33. With that said, Sachem North did a good job bottling him up in that second half of that football game.
Farmingdale had 21 points in the second quarter, Mike. They finished with 21 points. They posted a shutout in the second half of a championship game. That's championship defense. When you keep a team that scores a lot, that's multidimensional, shut them out in the second half.
So congratulations to Sachem North. Congratulations to Farmingdale. I mean, you go that deep into the season.
There should be some free coffees at Jumbo's Dunkin' Donuts, right? Maybe like we got to come up with some kind of Long Island Championship latte. LIC latte.
I hope the what is that called? The meat market out there in Babylon. I hope they're sending over some free sandwiches, because I know the guys at Babylon. They're always eating over there.
I could if I grew up across the street from that house. Forget about it.
Oh, that sandwich was great, Jimmy. By the way, do you remember? So we meet with Ponzone, Coach Ponzone from Babylon, Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. Was it Tuesday or Wednesday?
It was Tuesday because we wanted to stay away from
traffic. So we go out there,
traffic.
And it's supposed to be like an hour and 15 meeting. We have them in there 2 hours. We've got
He's getting coverage for classes.
Yeah, we've got Santarelli in there. We've got Carlock in there. We have a great meeting. And Ponzone is about to say something. And he goes, hey, I should let you know. And Santarelli gives him a look like, no. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. You cannot start something and not finish it. What do you have? And you can see Carlock and Nick are like, oh my God, Coach, please don't bring this up. What is it, Coach? Oh, I just thought I should let you guys know that in Nick's previous 23 games, he's never been sacked. And you could see, but look it, with this offense.
We were like, wait, interception? No, sack.
No, sack. So before we get to all their sexy guys and all that type of stuff.
Sackless career.
They have won 24 straight games now. He did not get sacked in this game. And he was going up against some dudes. Joe Vito's guys are dudes up front. Huge shout out to Matt Pinto, the center. Huge shout out to the right guard, Joe Cosby. I love this guy. He's a college football player. He's a junior. Very strong. Rhino. I love this St. Anthony transfer, the right tackle, Shea Amder, was great in this game against Raymond Jones. Did a very good job controlling a kid that had 20 sacks coming into the game. Left guard, Ryan Matthews, he was great. Left tackle, Tyler Christensen, he was awesome. Slick Nick did not get sacked. He started 24 games. He was never sacked. They're the first team in Long Island history to go back-to-back 12-0.
Wow.
First, now you got to remember, A lot of times, Long Island only plays 11 games.
Oh, so obviously there's been 11, and that was 11.
Yeah, exactly.
William Floyd won
every
40
year.
plus games in a row.
Yeah, every year. So, and again, as fun, like the way Long Island broke out, the last game of the weekend was Farmingdale Sachem North. Very fun game. The first game of the weekend, Babylon, Roosevelt,
Amazing.
small school 15s in it, and this thing was a lot of fun. Let's go to Hofstra, and man, it couldn't have started out any better for Joe Vito's Rough Riders. Raymond Jones, Stony Brook recruit, a 10-9 guy in the 100, takes the reverse, 79 yards. That would tie it at 6. And then Robert Hansen, this is a big old dude with a big old arm, to the quarterback, Jason Terry, 54 yards. Roosevelt's up a touchdown. Second quarter, Denzel Barnes, the first carry he would get of the season, would go 69 yards to the end zone. It's 18-12 at that point. Same score, Roosevelt driving. Barnes puts it on the carpet off the John Bell strip. Big play in the game. So they go to the locker room. They're still up 6. In opening kickoff, second half, you figure Roosevelt's put this thing to bed.
I mean, you thought they made the adjustments, and Shamari Kirkpatrick. Wow, the distance. And right now, Mike, Babylon's got to be thinking, this is not the Roosevelt team we expected.
Not at all. Nick Santarelli to Jake Carlock. Carlock would come alive in this game.
Extends the ball.
And then a little trickery on the 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Santarelli walks away.
Should have gave that play to Michigan against Ohio State.
Oh, you're making Stack unhappy. And then here, Barnes again would fumble. Ray Wardell, who was terrific before he goes off to Navy to play lacrosse, a bunch of receptions, big fumble recovery. They're down 6 at that point. Then Santarelli to Carlock.
Oh boy.
Sensational. Just absolutely sensational.
Not an accident. He practices it every day.
The point after was good. Roosevelt, one last try. Terry, unable to step into his throw. And Carlock, the wizard, his 19th career interception. Carlock, 10 receptions, 114 yards. Those 2 second-half touchdowns. Santarelli, in his final high school game, 26 of 41 for 286 and 3 touchdowns. That game was so good. And it's funny, I said during the broadcast, after Carlock came on and did the post game for TV, he's like, we were flat in the beginning. And I said, because you got there so early. I got up into the booth to start setting some things up, some notes and things, and they were on the field at 10 of 10.
Well, they had to come a long way.
And you could see, even in the postgame, buddy, Carlock, he didn't even know what was wrong in the first half.
In the first half, we played soft, including myself, and we were slow getting around. And when they took that kickoff back, I thought we were in for a long day. We, all the captains, we screamed and we took charge, and we told them we'd get back in this, and we did.
Well, you know who's very happy that Babylon won? Jake's mom. Beard done. She hated it. She didn't like
you
it.
said a moment ago you want to go see Curtis Jenkins play basketball. I think I want to go see Jake Carlock play basketball.
Do you remember last year on the show, on their road to the state championship where they would lose? I mean, these guys, every once in a while you get a group of special athletes.
Yeah.
Now, Ponzone will tell you, these aren't just athletes. They're students, and they're great, great people. I don't think there's anybody who's going to miss these guys more. I know that. It's got to be Coach Ponzone.
Yeah.
He knew, win or lose, this was going to be an incredibly
Special group.
emotional day because of how special. And Jimmy, it seems like every kid on the team is like a straight A student.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Coach had them all in grammar school. And, let's face it, I mean, these are kids. We were all kids in high school once upon a time, getting in a little mischief. And he says, you know what? One thing about this group, they did it right from day one.
Yeah.
He goes, I never got a bad email. I never got the phone call from the principal. I never heard, hey, a little something happened, nothing. He said these guys were clean as a whistle. And it was amazing. Mike, the one thing about that game, it was entertaining.
Oh,
you know what I mean? There are certain games that are just good games, and that game was entertaining. Joe Vito Roosevelt, listen, they lost that game the year before. It was not that close. Okay, I think Roosevelt came in with a little chip on their shoulder. Yeah. Okay, that, hey, no one's talking about us. We're 3-time defending Nassau champs.
Yeah.
You know, and they came out to perform. You know what I mean? Like Jones and the boys came out to perform, and they came out performing at a high level, and they sort of brought the best out of Babylon and Carlock. Yeah. You know, sometimes the great athlete, a guy like Carlock, he needs to get pushed around a little bit. He needs to feel a little bit of. Remember the movie Seabiscuit? Where he told him on the, he said on the back stretch.
I love to talk about
movies, right? Because there's a great scene in that where the jockey's in the hospital and he tells the new jockey, he says, "Hey, on the back stretch, pull back on him, right. Slow down, let him feel the competition a little bit." Right. And you got to feel in Babylon, you know, they didn't look like themselves in the first half. They needed to feel the competition a little bit that Roosevelt was giving them, and they did.
I think they underestimated the competition in that first half because we see a lot of players. Raymond Jones.
Well, the guy, listen,
I mean, this guy's
nobody catches the fastest man in Nassau County, and you were not catching him.
Look, first of all, give Chuck Priori an unbelievable amount of credit. The Stony Brook coach. You get Jones, whose upside is through the roof on either side of the football, and Carlock. I mean, that guy to me, there's no doubt in my mind that Jake Carlock, for what he did this year, is the best overall player in Suffolk County.
No doubt.
Overall.
No doubt.
It's not even close. That's how I feel.
You know what's great about that whole synergy of Stony Brook there between Jones and Carlock? Now, as the game is going on, I'm sure that Carlock is, oh my gosh, this guy's going to beat us. But when the game ended, I said, hey, I like this guy, Raymond Jones. I can't wait to be his teammate. You know, like he was almost probably a little proud of him.
Absolutely.
You know, you get excited for the future. And you're right. Listen, whatever happens at the banquets, the awards, Carlock, he's the best player in Suffolk County in my book.
No doubt. And congratulations in defeat to Johnny Akins with the performance the other day. He passes the great Anthony Brunetti as Nassau County's all-time leading rusher. He finished this year with 2,593 yards. Remember, he ran for over 2,000 a year ago. No one has ever gone back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons. And when you think of Mepham's
famous Amos Saraway,
he never did it.
When you think of Jerome Pettis,
he never did.
The great Rough Rider. You know, Mike Mayo, who actually rushed for 2,000 yards in 2006, only the 1 year in the 2006 Long Island Championship team for Roosevelt. You know, Mayo had 8 straight carries to end that championship game. But you felt for Akins a little bit, Mike, because he had the turf toe.
He did.
It wasn't 100%. He came alive in the game. He did some things. He was out on the field. He toughed it out. And, you know, like, listen, he came right down to the wire. And it was a fight to the finish. And it was a great display for Nassau County in Conference 4 to see Roosevelt, you know, and Babylon in that game. It was a great display for Suffolk County, for Babylon. And this is what the LIC is supposed to be about. Okay, 2 heavyweights in their respective divisions coming together, 1 champion.
Did you add it up at the end? Did you like run it through your head to see the way it worked out, Nassau versus Suffolk? So after the 4 games, do you know what the final tally was?
What do you mean?
Like, who won, Nassau or Suffolk?
Well, Babylon won for Suffolk. I knew there was going to be a quiz here. Of course, Sachem North, 2 for Suffolk.
2 for Suffolk.
Okay. We had Cary. There's 1 for Nassau.
Yep.
And who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting Lawrence, 2-2.
So do you want to show the Cary highlights?
All right.
Cary would play Riverhead. Now, Riverhead played without Jeremiah Cheatham. But what we found out in Cheatham's absence, that Coach Shea is a lucky dude. Even though they didn't win, he's got the makings of a superstar. And this guy, Ryan Moore, the sophomore, ran for 126 yards, was involved in a ton of tackles. He's got an electrifying first step. Riverhead, my gosh, is this kid going to be...
He was seizing the moment, Mike.
But that's going to be next year.
Yeah.
Right now, let's talk about Cary. You know, this guy, Scott Gregory, back in week 4, I think I talked about it last week. I got this email, you know, hey Mike, we're going to run the table and put us in the top. Scott, take it easy. And I said, listen, you got 8 games to win an LIC. We'll see. But what he did was he kind of got me thinking about this Cary team a lot earlier than I would think about a Conference 2 or Division 2 school, and I'm glad I did. The way it played out at the end of the year, do you know who scored the second most points on Long Island this year?
I'm going to say Cary.
They did. You know who scored the first most?
I'm going to say Lawrence.
Babylon.
Oh, Babylon.
Do you know who allowed the second fewest points on Long Island this year?
I'm going to say Cary.
You're good.
Well,
You know who allowed the least?
We're on a Cary theme.
Well,
Babylon?
Roosevelt.
Oh, Roosevelt. That's
So
right.
if you score the second most and you allow,
What was a lot of like 30 points?
they had allowed 30 coming into the game, so they
Right.
ended up with 56.
Right.
Cary ended up with 64. So if you score the second most and you allow the second fewest, that's a recipe for this. Let's go out to Hofstra. The Cat, Ray Catapano. This dude is fun. I like this guy a lot.
Puts the brakes on and says, I'll take it myself.
That made it 8-0 after the 2-point conversion pass, which was just as good. And then here, his 36th touchdown pass on the season to his buddy Andrew Riss. He threw just 3 interceptions this year. And then here,
Specials.
big play here. The specialty team play by the Seahawks would set up this. Riss, who began last year as the starting quarterback, just very calmly going to find the great Nick Spillane for the touchdown. So Mike Stanley's guys, wire to wire, 12 games, 12 wins. I mean, it was just a great year for Cary High School football. Look.
Mike, we saw the trophy case at Cary.
Yeah.
And we saw that as they chronicled the 1978 team and that won the last time they won a county championship, and the 1974 team who won the Rutgers Cup. And you know, when you see photos around it, and the guy's got the old 70s hairdos and the big collars, and it's like you can tell the pictures are from the 70s. It had been a while.
Do you think their great AD, Matt McLeese, had like the Windex out there cleaning up the trophy cases, getting everything ready? You think they're going to do something big out there? They had fire engines and American flags and thousands of people back at the school after they beat Garden City. And we heard they were going to do it again.
Listen, not only is it a championship, they got the Garden City monkey off their back. Garden City, who was just making a yearly habit out of ending the year, the season for Cary.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and that starts to weigh on the community after a while, Mike. So they did that with the emphatic 28-0 victory in the regular season, and then the comeback kids, as Catapano leads them to the game-winning touchdown with his demeanor, composure, and all that kind of stuff. But yes, I would think Mr. McLeese is going to have something very nice for Coach Stanley in his 7th year, who has made Cary, the Seahawks, our Long Island football champs. Wow.
Do you know after the game, not only did Catapano get the championship, he officially got a prom date. I guess his girlfriend said, if you want me to go to the prom, you better do something creative to ask me. So in the picture that they took afterwards, he held up a sign. Hey, I just won a championship. Now I need a prom date.
This is why I never went to the prom.
Because you didn't know how to play football?
I could not win. I could not be a champion.
So this dude, Ray the Cat, is a winner on and off the field.
Wow.
I think we knew 2 years ago when we were on the JV team, we knew that that group of kids was something special. And I think we proved it tonight.
I'm just so happy for the kids. I'm proud to be a part of the program, and you know, I can't believe we're done. You know, we're supposed to be go back to work on Monday. I guess we can't. So it's a great way to end. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, they frustrated the Riverhead with their defense, Mike.
Yeah.
Riverhead just could not establish any rhythm. They kept them out of the end zone the whole night, and then they did what they do. You know, their creativity on offense was evident. The Catapano Riss story, we've gone over it time and time again. Once upon a time, Riss was the quarterback. He gets hurt. He becomes the receiver. You know, then he recompetes for the job. It's better for the team that Riss stays the receiver. And boy, Riss looked like a lifelong receiver out there, and he runs around making plays, and he deserves so much credit. He acted like a captain in his career, and it's a nice story. You know, it is a nice story because these are guys that, you know, they put the time in. They had the Garden City up on the wall to start out the year. We got to get by them. They didn't put up any clippings of the season. You know, the 28-0 victory against Garden City didn't go up on the wall. There was no. Coach said we're going to celebrate that when we close the whole deal. So now all the clippings can finally go up.
Yeah, they got some guys. DeLeo was great. My man Colasurdo,
Yeah.
Robeson. I mean, just guys. DeMeo, banged up a little bit from that game-winning catch in the Nassau Championship. Nick Conting, Lucido. Just guys. It's a complete football team, and congratulations to Mike Stanley and all of his Seahawks. Wire to wire, 12-0, just one of 2 teams to go perfect on Long Island. Coach Ponzone's Babylon team being the other. Just absolutely what a win. Now, Lawrence High School was trying to do what Babylon did, go back-to-back. Playing in the championship game for the 3rd consecutive year. And I have to be honest with you. At the end of the first quarter, I was praying we were not going to see like a Sayville-Lawrence 2 years ago, 78-61 game. But in this game with Huntington, Jim, we're calling the game. It did cross our mind at the end of the first quarter at 21-12, like, oh no, we may be here until Monday.
Yeah, because they were both making play after play. And, I mean, Huntington needed to figure out Joe Capabianco because Joe Capabianco looked like he was going to throw for 500 yards in the first half.
He was just going to keep chucking it up there to Elijah Jones, and why not?
Yeah.
And we've said it before. There is a place for Elijah Jones. He's only played competitive football for 2 years. He's a special talent. 6'2", 220, had 4 catches for 189 yards in this game. But credit...
A newbie.
Yeah.
Playing a couple years.
But, buddy, credit Steve Muller's guys from Huntington High School. Because at 14-0, for the 2nd week in a row, they fall behind by 2 touchdowns in a game. Unlike the Sayville game, when they came back to win it, here they come back, they make it a game. Let's go back out to the brook.
Yeah.
This thing was a lot of fun.
Yeah, my first quarter, they're already up 7-0. Joe Cap to the aforementioned Elijah Jones. Look at Jones. Battle for the football. And then Jordan Fredericks.
Oh, he's good.
I mean,
real good.
Look how quickly he gets the edge. The junior, it makes it 14-0 Lawrence, but Huntington would fight back. LeVar Butts, you've heard the expression, leave it all on the field. This was the definition of a guy leaving it all on the field, number 25. But back comes Joe Cap, again to Elijah Jones. Look at Jones, zigzagging, gone. 82 yards. It was 21-12 Lawrence. Jones had like 160 yards receiving in the first half. Again, Joe Cap, well-placed, well-designed screen here, Mike.
Great play call. Huntington started to blitz. This was a 4th down play. They said, let everybody come up. We'll just dink it over to Frederick.
We said on this show with Joe Cap about 2 months ago, get to 100 touchdown passes. That was number 100. 100 touchdown passes in a career. And then Joe Cap again to Marquand Williams. 22 yards on this one. Just slinging it, throwing the ball with gusto. They're up. He threw for 353 and 3 touchdowns in the game. But you got weapons, man. Look at Fredericks again. Looks like Huntington's got him bottled up, Mike.
Yeah, this kid, if he gets through the first level, you're not going to catch number 1. He's too quick.
The senior captain, LeVar Butts, would just keep on coming. Huntington would never say die. Butts, 44 yards. It was 31-26. Huntington would have the ball now, 4th quarter. Green is stripped by Mike Spinelli. Ball goes into the end zone. Sam I am. Moran on the recovery. And Sean Moran, I should say. I just made Sean Moran, Sam Moran. But Sean Moran, amazing. He catches the big 4th down catch in the Nassau County Championship. And jumps on that one off the great strip by Spinelli. And, Lawrence finds a way just to keep scoring. And for the Huntington, the dream machine finally ran out. But, boy, LeVar Butts was fun to watch going down. He went down swinging.
He did. He 14 carries, 133 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 12 tackles.
Yeah, we enjoyed Coach Muller and his kind of like bare knuckles approach. They hit every day. There's no shorts and T-shirts allowed in Huntington football. And they had some of that toughness in the game. But tip your cap, because Lawrence had a mission, Mike. They wanted to become the first Lawrence team to win 3 national titles. They did that. No Lawrence team had ever gone back-to-back in the LIC. And now they've done that.
A year ago, when they beat Sayville 21-20, it was the great Eddie Robinson with the interception return for the touchdown to win it. Here, it was another defensive play that would give them the breathing room they would need when Mike Spinelli burst through the line with the strip and the score for Moran, and they had a chance to say, we've done it.
It's what happened, but I think when I go home and I just lay down my bed, they'll hit me. But just the best feeling.
Well, after the Sayville game here 2 years ago, I told myself my goal is to break Stephen Farrar's record. After what he did to our team here, I said that's my goal. And beginning of the year, I said I was only 8 away. Then somebody joked around and said, you better get triple digits. And I said, I'm going to try. And I think Mike Quick owes me a cake now that he should deliver it to Lawrence High School. I'll be waiting for that. I like chocolate cake with white frosting, so thank you.
Oh, now wait a minute. I have not seen or heard about this.
I said you asked me about
I do remember
6
this
weeks ago, if he got 100, what would you do? I said, I'll send him a cake. So we're working on it.
He took inventory of that. Joe Cap wants his cake. What did he say? White cake with chocolate frosting?
We have it on tape. I have to check that. To check that.
Now, will you bake the cake?
Chocolate cake, thanks, Bri, with white frosting.
Okay.
So we'll probably put a little bit of blue and yellow in there for Lawrence.
You do fancy yourself as a bit of a cook?
I do.
Can you bake a cake suitable for this occasion?
I can.
Well, now what type of, so a chocolate cake, white frosting, we want to put 100?
I think we're going to go with maybe like a football that says Mr. 100.
Mr. 100.
Look, I said it, and I will stick up to my end of the bargain. Absolutely.
It's a...
I don't know how those people can hate me out there. It's seemingly everybody at Lawrence dislikes me.
Why?
I don't know. I say incredible things about them. I mean, Fredericks, I talk to colleges about Fredericks, the whole thing.
Listen, we've had them on the broadcast the last couple of weeks, and they've been very successful, and listen.
I like Martellotti.
Uh-huh. And that's what you like about this, because Joe Martellotti is a Lawrence guy through and through, cut to the core. And this meant so much to him because once upon a time he played for Richie Malo at Lawrence. He was a great player himself, guard, tackle, kicker, punter, and he wanted to win this for Lawrence. So hey,
I do have to take one shot though, right? I do. Hey Cap, Ferraro didn't get you that day. Sirico did. He had 6 touchdowns. Enjoy your cake, partner. How you doing? Last week, Jim, on Long Island, there were 3 in the top 25. This week, there's 4.
Whoa!
Last week, there were 2 in the small school. This week, there are 3. So that, if we bring in a lot of new teams, makes me happy.
Wow.
Yep.
As Mr. P said, this is Long Island football.
Who?
Mr. P.
Who's Mr. P?
Mr. P. The Golden Tornadoes. Mr. P. Leader of the football community. President of the New York State football coaches. Was it football coaches? Pat Pizzarelli.
Oh, Pizzarelli.
But he said, Long Island football. And listen, that was, it was, you know what? I got to say, man, I do at times wish that, some of these teams, even a Lawrence, you know what I mean, could make their way up to the Carrier Dome and give,
I'm glad you brought that.
Let Joe Cap throw it around the dome a little bit. Okay, but I will say this, okay? It's an outstanding event.
It's a great event.
It was, the games were well played, well matched. There was fight to the finishes,
great
playmakers.
Crowds.
It was good football.
And we're going to give the #1 nod as far as crowds to Cary High School. Those people were into it, and this is why I'm glad you brought it up. I was watching the highlights of the Aquinas-Monroe-Woodbury game, the biggest classification in the state of New York, the AA division.
Right.
There was nobody there.
Which could be like either it could be Sachem North.
Correct. There was nobody there in the Carrier Dome.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe 2,000 people. Jim, I don't know if you want to drive from Lake Ronkonkoma all the way up.
When you go to Jumbo's, you got to get the Boxer Joe for that one.
Congratulations.
2-2 though. 2-2. That's parity. That's what you want. That's what you want. Because it's gone both ways, right? I mean, 2-2.
A lot of fun. Long Island is in the books. There's one game left in the state of New York, the PSAL Championship. Long Island will
Is that
take
this
interest.
spring?
Yeah, Long Island will take interest in that because some of those cats will be playing against you in your next high school football game.
Let's get the cake. Let's bake it.
Boomer, what?
Let's start baking this cake.
Right now?
Like my girls, we either call the cake boss. Okay, we'll call Rispoli's in Jersey.
I'll call Tommy Colicchio, Phil's guy.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
That's a cake.